Our goals in the public safety sector are similar to the goals in any of the sectors that MHS is involved in, which is to ensure that every individual involved gets the best outcomes, that they're treated equally, that we reduce bias, and in particular in the public safety sector is to provide opportunities for offenders to be directly engaged in their rehabilitation and their treatment. What we find in many systems is that offenders have things done to them. They're told what to do. They're told when to do it. They're told what's important and what's not important. And as we look at individuals re-entering society, their needs are so different. Every individual needs something. And while assessments can help direct us to the global needs, we need to be able to prioritize those needs for individuals and engage them in that conversation. What's more important for a certain person? Is it to get a general equivalency of diploma so that they have some academic credentials? Or is their drug and alcohol treatment more important, and should that be prioritized first? Is it more important to integrate them back into their family or to help them find a job? And so individual and personalization of those treatment plans so that each individual has the greatest opportunity for success and for them to have some say in that. I think we see so many opportunities for technology to start to do that. To break down the barriers between the different criminal justice agencies, to ensure continuity of care, to ensure that what an offender is participating in one stage of their journey through the criminal justice system, that gets carried throughout the other systems, to reduce the proprietary silos that exist in the solutions that we can offer and in the criminal justice agencies. So technologies like Microsoft's Public Safety Accelerator, which is basically an offender management system that can cut across all the agencies and integrate all of the tools and the technologies into the offender care, are huge for allowing that continuity of care and making sure that offenders get the best opportunity to rehabilitate. Nobody wants to be filling out paper forms anymore and filing those in filing cabinets that don't connect. And so, we are really investing heavily in the technology solutions. But for us, it's a partnership approach. We're not going to build an offender management system, but we can partner effectively with those people who have offender management systems so that probation, parole, corrections officers aren't moving from one system to another. So if they're administering a risk assessment, they can administer right within the offender management system that they're doing everything else through. If they're using remote check-in, they're using a remote check-in app that they can use in the field, but that feeds the information back into the offender management system. So we see there are three different types of systems that and technologies that can be used to revolutionize and digitize the criminal justice field. There are offender management systems that institutions use to manage data. They have requirements at their end. Then perhaps there are apps or mobile-based systems that correctional officers can use in the field so that they can be more agile and flexible. And then there are apps that the offender can use to also be more agile and flexible, to feed information back, but potentially also to manage things like their own appointments and to have an appointment reminder system, to manage their own online therapy, for example. And all of that information can feed back into the offender management system so the data has a centralized place. But it gives the tools for the individual working within the system. It gives them the right tools to use at the right time in the right place. And no one company can do all of that. It has to be a partnership-based approach where you're working together. The public sector is slow to move. I think that That's consistent with government agencies across the spectrum, not just in public safety. And digitization and transformation takes two things. It takes time and it takes money. And both of those are in short supply in the public safety sector. There's a lot of people with a lot of work on their plate. I think people have a desire to change what they do, to modernize the technology, to use that top technology to move away from locking up offenders and move into a much more rehabilitative and consultative framework. Um, but they don't have the expertise to understand the different technologies. They're not trained in using technologies, and quite frankly, many of them come from the system where it's much more black and white. You lock up offenders, and then when they've done their time, you release them. And so, training, education, and all of those pieces are part of that. So, I think the biggest challenges we face are there's a desire to do things differently, but there's a lot of heavy lifting to get that done. Collaboration and partnership are going to be so important. And MHS is in business as a for-profit company, but as a privately held company, we have the choice to decide how much we invest in a particular area and how much we give back. And this is an area that we're 100% committed to investing everything we can to, without focusing purely on profit or rate of return, to support and transform the criminal justice system, because we do feel it is ripe for transformation. We do think the tools and the technologies and the systems are there. We think there's enough knowledge about checks to make sure that AI doesn't go rogue and make bias in the system worse. We think all of the principles and foundations are in place, but it's going to require collaboration across agencies, the private sector, the not-for-profit sector, the NGOs, all of those groups to really make a difference.